Well, Pascal, I guess first off, congratulations on the new position with the Columbus Blue Jackets. Obviously, an exciting time returning to the National Hockey League. Before we get to that, though, I kind of want to roll it back and go all the way back to your first time coming into the league. When you got that call from the Winnipeg Jets to come to town and join this moving franchise for its first season in Winnipeg, what was that reaction like as you really started down this path?
Well, it was unreal because when Claude Noel called me the first time, it was a 5-minute call, and he said, "Listen, I've heard your name. Some people mentioned your name, and you've done a great job at the junior level and with Team Canada, and I'd be interested to get to know you." And then we hung up. He said, "Think about it, and I'll call you back tomorrow." And then after the call, I was in Montreal eating fried rice on a patio outside, and I'll always remember. I hung up the call. I hung up the phone, and I thought, "This is great," or somebody's playing a real good joke on me. And sure enough, next day we spoke every day, and then that was a Thursday, and then on the Monday, he said, "We're going to fly you to Winnipeg, meet the people here." I believe at that time there was three guys remaining on their list that they wanted to meet in person, and then so we met on the Tuesday, flew back to Montreal that same night, and on the Thursday, I was driving my car back to going home, and he said, "Listen, would like to offer you the job," and I couldn't believe it. It was going from the juniors to the NHL to an organization I really didn't know anyone. And I didn't know Claude, I didn't know Chevy, I didn't know Zinger, I didn't know any of those people. And within a week, I was now an NHL assistant coach with the Winnipeg Jets. That was amazing. It was hard to understand at first the magnitude of it. And then I got in town and got to know the city and understand what was at stake. And it was just an amazing time of my life. I'll always remember those people believed in me. And I was, honestly, I was a little bit green. And I didn't play in the NHL. And I'm a French guy. And so there was a lot of roadblocks along the way. But to finally be part of a coaching staff at the NHL level was a huge accomplishment in my career, and I wanted to give them, I wanted to prove them right to hire me, and I worked extremely hard. But that opportunity came, and I always be grateful for it.
During your time with the Jets, you had the opportunity to work with Claude Noel. You had the opportunity to work with Paul Maurice. What did those two coaches have an impact on your career so far?
Oh, huge. In different ways. Like Claude and Paul are different coaches. We're all different. I've learned a ton with Claude. His vision of how to create offense and his ability to question everything we did was amazing. And it was my first experience at the pro level. And he's a guy that won the Calder, had NHL experience with Columbus, was assistant. He had a ton of experience, but he was very inclusive. And when he got fired, that's one of my worst day in my coaching career, because you feel responsible for it. You're part of the staff, and if he gets fired, it means something went wrong along the way. And as an assistant coach, you feel like, what could I have done better? Like what did I do wrong, and how come we let this happen? And so you question yourself, and then you don't really have the answers. I don't think you ever do. But then Paul came in town, and I didn't know Paul. We didn't know Paul. I didn't know Paul myself, and we know he's got tons of experience, and I used to watch him doing his interviews when he was with Toronto and Carolina, and I was always quite amazed on how well he speaks and how he explains the game. And so he was coming to town. But for me personally, I didn't know if we were going to match, if he wanted to keep me. So We got to know each other, and over the years we became good friends. But Paul is like, to me, and I've said it quite often, he's like going to, like, I'm a student at university and he's the teacher. He's an amazing man, an amazing coach, a student of the game, very inclusive, well prepared. Is to me, he's the Sidney Crosby of coaches. He's so complete. He knows the games, X's and O's, but it's way beyond that. He understands the players, and his ability to make speeches in the room. Like, he's just so good. You see him in front of the media, but that's just a small piece of what he can do. He's an amazing coach, a great human being, and I'm glad to be to consider him as a friend now.
So after 5 years with the Winnipeg Jets, the opportunity comes along to shift back into being a head coach with the Manitoba Moose. How was that approached by the organization? How did they come to you, and eventually you decide to join on with the AHL outfit?
Well, so coming to the Jets, the biggest adjustment was not necessarily changing or switching leagues. Going to the NHL was a big jump, obviously, in 2011. But the biggest adjustment was to become an assistant coach. I've never been an assistant coach. For all my career, I've been head coach, and most of it general manager and head coach. So I've always been in that position to manage and to be the head guy. Coming to Winnipeg, my first year or so, adjusting to the role of an assistant coach was different, and I wanted to be good at it. And that's something I wanted to experience, filling those shoes and understanding what it takes to be an assistant coach or be in that role. So when I found out about the fact that the job would be open with the Moose, I sat down with Paul and we spoke for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, and why should I consider it or not? And if I consider it, I may get the job, I may not get the job, but we eventually spoke about making sure that we create a strong link between the two teams, and we speak the same language, and we use the same systems, and we use the same kind of practices. So there's an easy transition for the players that are coming down to the Moose or going up to the Jets. And eventually I wanted to, part of my goal is to get back as an NHL, as a coach, but as a head coach in the National Hockey League. So that was also part of it. And going to work with Zinger as well was very interesting. So I did the interview process, and without knowing if I would get the job, and I got the job. And the first year with the Moose then was a real adjustment, because it's not the NHL. You're close to the NHL. It's not junior, but you got kids or players that are coming out of junior. You got veterans. It's a real strong league, and a real good league to understand what it takes to be a hockey coach, because you're always on your feet, you're always adjusting, and I'm quite grateful again that I had the opportunity to coach a Moose for 5 years.
Over those 5 years, what did the players that came through the Moose teach you?
Oh my God, a lot. Their passion for the game, their desire to get better, the way I think what I've learned the most, and even more so because of the last year we've all been through, is the people adapt, and they really do. And so we had guys coming down. We had guys that we've been calling up from the East Coast, and we had guys being injured and coming back. And what I've learned is people, when given a chance, sometimes they can do things that you didn't expect. And sometimes being a little bit more patient will give or produce great results. So to me, and that's the one thing I've learned with the Moose, is the ability to adapt is the most important. Obviously, the ego, you're all about development, and it's all about developing players. But what I've learned from the players is, given a chance, some guys, you have expectations for them, but when they're given a chance and they understand their role and they know exactly what is expected, they can surprise you. And some guys took advantage of them. I'm thinking of a guy like Jensen Harkins, for example. But the people adapt, but they want to be told the truth. They want to be told exactly how it is and what it's going to look like. But I found that people can adapt when you don't think they can.
We could probably spend 4 hours talking about every little thing from your time with the Moose. But looking back on the past 5 years, what are some of the things that you'll take with you and maybe you're most proud of that the team was able to accomplish?
Well, the mission number one is to produce players and to get guys ready and play for the Winnipeg Jets. It's also the Moose has a special place in Mark Chipman's heart. Craig Heisinger is a firm believer in the American League and its process. So I got to understand why they felt that way. But my number one goal, and Chevy and Larry Simmons and Zinger told me when I signed the contract, they said, listen, you've been in the NHL for 5 years, and it's every day you're in a must-win mindset. You'll have to adjust, and the adjustment was you need to develop players, and our goal is to put ourselves in a position to make the playoffs, and then you never know what can happen. But the first step is to produce players that will be able to help the team making the playoffs, and I think that's what. With the coaching staff, because nothing is done alone. I'm here talking to you, but we had a full staff behind me, the assistant coaches, the trainers, the medical staff. It's there's a lot of people involved in there, but our number one mission always been we need to produce players and help the Jets win hockey games, and I think we've done a great job at that.
Your staff has been mostly and very stable during your time with the Moose. And what can you say about the opportunity to work with your assistant coaches and Marty Johnson, Eric Dubois, Mark Morrison earlier on, and Richard Bowie and Rick St. Croix?
Well, I hope they've learned from me as much as I did learn from them. All different guys, and that the number one thing I'm looking for when I hire a staff member is you can teach the game. You can at this level, they're all good hockey people. They understand the game. But the number one thing I was looking for is loyalty to the organization, loyalty to your job description, loyalty to the people around you. And those people are extremely loyal. Mark Morrison, Marty Johnston, Eric Dubois, Rick St. Croix, Richard Bowie. We had Tucker Eisinger. The medical staff and the training staff, they're real good people. And I was really lucky and privileged to work with those people. But I've learned a ton from them. They're different, their work ethic, the way they see the game. And I didn't want any yes men. I don't want assistant coaches that would just do as I say. We don't grow in that kind of environment. I wanted people that would challenge me, and they did quite a bit, and I'm grateful for it. So, but we were working well. It's a respectful environment, but creating a winning environment when you're developing, it's tricky at times. And we were able to do it for 5 years, and I'm like I said, I feel very privileged I was able to work with you. And then you and Jen, you're included in that group. Brad Andrews, we have a lot of good people in that organization. And that's why I'm excited about the new opportunity. But a big piece of me is I'm sad to leave an organization I love. And the reason I love it, it's because of its people. So it's I've been lucky to work with you guys. And I also know that because of that, guys like me get opportunities to go a different route.
And before we look on to the future, maybe just a thought looking back on the last 10 years, being able to live and work in this city with these fans and this organization.
Well, it's amazing. Like I remember the people were asking me back home in Montreal the first year, how is it in Winnipeg? And I was saying, think of it this way, and the best way to describe it for the first year, maybe this first 2 years in Winnipeg, and that was amazing. I said, think of Montreal because I'm from there, and I was talking to my family and friends back home in Montreal, and I would say, think of the Montreal Canadiens when they're in the playoffs and how crazy they go about their team. Well, it's been like this for a full year or a full 2 years. It's been every day you could see people, with their flags and people before the games, even though I didn't see them personally because I wasn't getting ready for the games, but I could see the images. And it was amazing that it's like people were hungry to get their team back. And Mr. Chipman is the main reason why we got the team back, and for the people to respond and for the people of Winnipeg to feel proud of their team, and it's been amazing. People here are amazing. Like, it's friendly Manitoba. It is really. I just love the people here. I love the city. I've been here for 10 years. My daughter is 10 years old. This is home for her. It's been an amazing ride, one that I'll never forget and always be thankful for.
Well, you have a pretty cool opportunity in front of you with the Columbus Blue Jackets. How did it all come together?
Well, again, it's an organization I didn't know. I don't know any of those people. I've never met them. But when, our mission with True North is, one of it is do the right thing and never stop trying to learn. So that's what we've been doing. Eventually, when you do the right thing over and over and over, it gets noticed. People support you. You have supporters. You have people that believe in you. You have people that are watching you and how you do things. And those people called Chevy and asked for permission to speak. And I was interviewed for the head coaching position. And I had two teams that I interviewed for, and Columbus was one of them. And Yarmo, the GM, called me on a Tuesday a few weeks ago, and he said that he's going to give the job to Brad Larson, but he wanted to offer me the associate coach position as long as Brad and I get along. And Brad and I spoke, and he's a great guy, very patient in the process, great values. So we fit really well. The way he sees life in general and how he sees coaching the game, we connect, and we see things the same way. We're going to be challenging each other, obviously, but that's how it came about. It was did 2 interviews as a head coach for the head coaching position. I didn't get it. I understand why they gave it to him. He's been there for 11 years. It's well deserved. He's I truly understand why they gave it to him. A great coach, great person, and he deserves it. But for me, to be offered the associate head coach position, it's a great opportunity. I think I'm going to learn from different people, different organization, and I'm going to give them my best.
What's most exciting for you about that position?
Well, a lot of things. I think the title, I'm not too. I've never been a title kind of guy, like head coach. It's just associate coach, assistant coach. These are just titles. When you have a good and strong coaching staff, you just share ideas and how you see things, and you're a bunch of guys working together with having the same mission, and you're trying to accomplish and some things and trying to face adversity together and celebrate the wins together. But it's going to give me an opportunity to go back to the NHL with way more experience now that I have 5 years as an assistant with the Jets and 5 years as a head coach with the Moose. I feel like I have way more experience, and that will give me more confidence. Not that I'm not a confident guy. I know the game. I know I do. I know how to coach people, but I have the confidence knowing what works and what doesn't work. And it's going to be a great challenge. And it's going to, my ultimate goal is to win the Stanley Cup as a head coach. So I think I'm just going to go there and give them my best, be loyal to them, obviously. And we'll see. I might be there for 10 years. Who knows? But what I know is it's going to give me more experience to achieve eventually my goal to become a National Hockey League head coach.
Well, we're all excited for you here, Coach. Looking forward to seeing you behind the bench of the Columbus Blue Jackets. Obviously, we're going to miss you a lot, but again, really excited for you. And just wanted to say on behalf of everyone, thanks for everything that you've given us over the last 5 years and 10 years.
Oh, yes, you better stay in touch. You're not going to get rid of me, guys. That's not that easy. Like I said, we've been here for 10 years. The city is home to us. Going to be watching the Jets and the Moose closely. I'm going to be working hard for the Columbus Blue Jackets, and I'm really excited. Those people are great, but I'll never forget my 10 years with the Moose and the Jets. It's been amazing, and very grateful. Thank you very much for everything you've done.